The candle wax dripped onto the linen like slow blood. Everyone laughed. Forks hovered. My brother's hand rested on my wife's lower back a second too long. She cleared her throat. I noticed the way her fingers trembled, not with fear, but anticipation. The room leaned toward her voice. Even the chandelier seemed to listen. "I have something to share," she said. My heartbeat didn't change. That was the first sign something inside me had already died. She looked at me as if measuring how much damage she could do in one breath. Then she smiled. "I'm pregnant." The word echoed. Pregnant. Gasps. Applause. Glasses clinked. My brother's grin split wide, bright with money and certainty. I felt nothing. No collapse, no scream, no blur of rage, just a quiet click in my mind, like a lock turning. Because 3 weeks earlier, alone in a sterile clinic room that smelled like disinfectant and truth, I had watched my wife sign a consent form for a fertility test she thought was routine. She never asked why I wanted it. She never imagined I would read every line. I stood up before anyone could look at me with pity. I lifted my glass, and I smiled back. They thought I was stunned. That was the lie they needed. My brother finally spoke. "I didn't plan for this to come out tonight," he said, playing humble, playing careful, but it felt wrong to hide it any longer. Hide it, as if truth was an inconvenience. My wife wouldn't meet my eyes. She didn't need to. She already knew what she was supposed to see there: devastation. Instead, I studied the curve of her mouth, the practiced innocence. The woman I had married had always been efficient with lies. That's why I trusted her. For years she told me my quiet was weakness, my patience passivity. She filled the house with noise so I wouldn't hear what mattered: the dinners she missed, the business trips that didn't align, the way my brother suddenly remembered my favorite wine. When I couldn't conceive, she held my face and said, "We'll get through this." She never said, "together." The applause faded into murmurs. Someone asked how far along she was. 4 months, she said. 4 months. I did the math without blinking. My brother's eyes flicked toward me then, just once, checking for damage, checking if the older, quieter sibling had finally broken. I nodded, slowly. Inside I replayed the doctor's voice. Complete infertility. Congenital. There is no chance of natural conception. No chance. The lie wasn't the pregnancy. The lie was who they thought I was. I didn't confront her. That would have been loud, messy, ineffective. Instead, I watched. I memorized patterns. The way she angled her phone away from me. The silence when my brother's name appeared on her screen. No ringtone, just vibration. I checked dates, hotels, private dinners billed to company cards. I smiled at family gatherings. I toasted promotions. I let them believe I was shrinking. At night, while she slept beside me, I opened a folder on my phone labeled Insurance. Inside were screenshots, receipts, timelines, and the fertility report. Stamped, signed, irrefutable. She never asked about the clinic again. She assumed shame had sealed my mouth. What she didn't understand was this: I don't explode. I arrange. By the time she placed her hand on my arm at my birthday dinner, I already knew exactly how this would end. I just needed witnesses. I waited until the applause died, then I tapped my glass once more. "Before we celebrate," I said, my voice calm enough to scare myself, "there's something I'd like to share, too." My wife stiffened. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a folded envelope. "I had some tests done last month," I continued, "at the same clinic you visited." Her breath caught, a sound like paper tearing. I unfolded the report slowly, letting the silence stretch. "According to this," I said, "I am medically incapable of fathering a child." The room froze. My brother stood up. "This isn't the time. Oh, it's exactly the time. I slid the paper across the table. My wife read it once, twice. Her face collapsed inward, like a building finally giving up. "I thought," she whispered. "You thought I didn't read," I said. "You thought I wouldn't connect the timing. You thought I'd beg." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. My brother's smile vanished. People began standing. Chairs scraped. No one knew where to look. "I wanted everyone here," I said, "because lies survive best in private." My wife reached for me. I stepped back. "Don't," I said. One word, final. I turned to my brother. "Congratulations," I told him, "on the child and the illusion." His jaw tightened. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly," I said. "You took what you wanted because you assumed I wouldn't notice or fight." I raised my glass again. "To clarity," I said. Then I placed the glass down untouched and walked away from the table, from the marriage, from the man they thought I was. Outside, the night air felt clean. I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty in the precise way surgeons aim for. Nothing extra left inside. Betrayal doesn't hurt because it's violent. It hurts because it's deliberate. I had given them silence. They mistook it for consent. Now, every memory they had of me would be infected with doubt. Every celebration, tainted. I didn't take revenge. I took the truth. And as I walked into the dark, I realized something quietly profound. They didn't destroy me. They revealed me. And I would never belong to them again.